in this video, I'm gonna go over the 5 KPIs that your setters should be hitting and that you should be tracking, and what to do if the numbers aren't good or if they're bad. First, the reason why these are so important is because if you have leads coming in at the top of your funnel and you're not optimizing all of the things that happen in your setting process across the client acquisition process to get them to your closers and to optimize your marketing, you're leaving money on the table, either by not having a higher ROAS, which you could have, and you could dump more money into your ad spend and grow faster and easier and more efficiently, or by actually targeting the wrong people and creating a database of prospects that are not in your ICP or your ideal customer avatar. And so you need to fix either ends of those by tracking this stuff in the actual setter SDR process. The first one is your connection percentage. If every time that your setter makes 100 dials, less than, and really it probably you need a bigger sample size than that, but if over the span of a couple of days, and really if in 2 days you notice this number being lower than 8%, you've got a problem, okay? Your connection percentage to new fresh leads coming in should be, I mean, really, if you're calling them within 5 to 10 minutes, which you should call every single new lead within 5 to 10 minutes and track that also. If your connection percentage on brand new leads is less than 17%, and if your connection percentage calling leads that you're calling for the second time, or the third time, or fourth time, or whatever is lower than 8%, you have one of two problems. Either your numbers are getting marked as spam, and I'm gonna list a resource in the description here that can help you figure out if your numbers are getting marked as spam, or your dialer doesn't have a local presence feature, which means it will make the area code that your appointment setter is calling from the same area code as the prospect you're calling every single time you're making the call. Those are the two most important things. Now, a lot of people are using Alaware if they're also using HubSpot. Alaware is a little bit difficult to get the numbers checked to see if they're being marked as spam likely. We've all seen this where someone calls us, it says spam likely, we don't answer the phone. Your numbers that are getting used, if you're using Alaware or any of the major popular dialers, are being purchased. They're actually purchasing spam likely numbers and recycling them, okay? So if you have Alaware, you need to get a list of your number pool, verify them, and have them change out the ones that are marked as spam likely. Your connection percentage is gonna shoot up. You should be hanging out at around 10%. If you're using, I've found a new dialer that I like a lot. It's called ringover.io. They're really good pricing. They have decent integrations, and they let you replace your numbers for free. Kixi is also very popular. I've actually found Kixi to be pretty buggy, unfortunately, but they have an auto spam likely detection feature, which actually repopulates their numbers with new fresh numbers if any of the numbers are getting in the number pool are getting marked as spam likely. All 3 of those dialers have a local presence feature. Dialpad I have not looked at, but I know it has a local presence feature, so probably worth looking at. Go and check what their process is like for numbers marked as spam likely. Make sure that number is at 10%. If that number's at 5% and you can get it to 10%, you're talking to twice as many people per day. Even if your every other number in your funnel stays the same, you just doubled your volume. Really important one. Number 2 is your connect to convo percentage. What does that mean? Of the people who are answering the phone, what percentage of them are letting you pitch or ask a couple of questions versus are shucking me off the phone right away? This, if for my I have cold call teams that are doing pure cold. I don't mean outbound dials to old opt-ins in a database. I mean, we scrape a list and we cold call them. I have cold callers who cold call teams, all of my cold call teams are averaging between 55 and 65%. My top performers are more like 75%. I've had a few hit 80, okay? That means of every single person that answers the phone, 55 to 65% of them should be willing to talk to you, okay? At least for my cold call teams. Warm inbound should be much, much higher, okay? And so if that number is worse than that, it's likely your SDR's or setter's intro or their tonality in the intro, right? They're either not executing well or you need a better reason-based intro. I like to start with a consent-based intro. Hey, was just calling, the reason for my call is this. Wonder if you had a couple of minutes really quick or 27 seconds really quick, which is one of those psychologically used numbers where if you have an odd number, it seems like it's more specifically crafted and calculated and they're more likely to say yes, it's a pattern interrupt, right? But make sure your connection to conversation percentage is over 55% minimum. And really, if you're doing opt-ins or calling database leads or warm inbound of any type off a call booking funnel or anything like that, low ticket purchase, it should be higher. The third is what percentage of the conversations that your SDRs or setters are having are qualified. If this number seems low to you, it's actually not your sales team's fault. This is a product of your marketing, right? And so if of the people you're talking to, based on an extremely binary set of rules that you create for your setting team, which you need to also go double check them on every time they mark someone as unqualified, especially for the first couple of weeks that you implement this, if based on that binary set of rules, a large percentage of them are not qualified based on your qualification metrics, either you need to open up what is qualified or you need to report that back to your marketing director or your agency or whatever, because you're spending a lot of money on leads that you're not even trying to sell. So you need to fix that. The fourth metric is, of the conversations that you have that are qualified based on that very binary number, how many are you booking by percentage? My cold call teams book about 20 to 25%. My teams that are outbound dialing to warm or inbound leads are doing 90+%, okay? Of qualified meetings that they talk to that they book. And there's just like any sort of variety of factors that could be in that 10%. Really, my best teams are doing more like 95%. So if that number is worse, that's nothing more than an SDR or setter coaching problem. You need to go listen to your setters and SDRs and coach them better. Watch one of my videos on how to run sales team meetings and how to coach your sales team and figure out what you need to do to improve your team's ability, acumen, skill set. That's really important. And then the fifth is the show percentage. Obviously, booking the meeting is great, but the setter's close per se is making sure that these qualified meetings are showing up. So you probably have some sort of Calendly or calendar automations running after meetings are booking. You also need some personalized touch. So get them in a group chat on text. If you're in an industry that would be like a cardinal sin to do, like to use a personal phone number, make sure that there's some personalized touch in emails and that you're calling these people the day before, the day of. If they're getting booked out over 3 days, which you really want to book them inside of a 3-day window. There have been some really good statistics put out by like Gong and HubSpot on show percentages after hour 24, 48, 72. You want to get them in that 72-hour window, but you want to make sure that you are hand touching and your SDRs are personally personalized, reaching out to these people in an actual individual, manual, I am a human being reaching out to another human being way. That's clearly not automation. And if you have automations, make them look personalized. That's going to significantly increase your show percentage. Now, show percentage based on what industry you're in is going to be all over the place, but it should be at the bare minimum 65%. If it's not, I guarantee you your setters or SDRs either aren't extracting the pain, the core emotional driver that these people are looking for inside of their call, or they're not personally following up afterwards. Those are the two biggest indicators of your, the two biggest things that you can go fix if the show percentage is low. Go listen to the calls, make sure they're at least getting an emotional driver or a desire out of this person, or this meeting has just become productized and about your product, not like positioned in a way that makes your product a solution, right? So hopefully that makes sense. Leave a comment if it didn't, and I'll be happy to answer or reach out or whatever, and I'm happy to help out or whatever. But those are the 5 KPIs you should absolutely be religiously tracking, and the problems that could be indicating why those numbers are not up to your KPI standard.